This week's update in GTA Online is a very good one when you take a look at the money bonuses and basically all the boosted ways to earn money for players in this game. And to be honest, just like the past few weeks, it is yet another great event. However, another highlight of this update that many players may not have realized here is the return of several different vehicles for a limited time, in addition to all of the insights that I share usually on a weekly basis for all of our discounts, which, by the way, the buyer's guide will be going up this weekend here on the channel. Just for today's guide though, we're going to be focusing on something really special here, which is the reintroduction of some previously removed vehicles from the game, two of which are on discount and they have discounts applied to them. But overall, there's some other really good cars here that players have been begging to see return to the game. I think all of them remain a smart purchase for any car lover or collector, and we're going to explore all of the performance specs, whether it be top speed, handling, braking, acceleration, customization options, and more. And so hopefully this video helps you decide whether they deserve a spot in your car garage or not. So with that being said, let's get started. Jumping in for number one, we do have the Benefactor Feltzer, finally back, and you could purchase it at the LS Car Meet this week. This is one of the three main vehicles today that I think players have requested to see featured back into the game for a limited time. Most, I would say. I've seen so many comments from players requesting that Rockstar bring this vehicle back, and for good reason too. It's a really hot looking car. The Feltzer in GTA is a rear-wheel drive sports car that offers really quick acceleration, and it is considered more of like a top-tier drift car due to that back-heavy build and the responsive suspension. It is going to have a lower top speed and average acceleration compared to other sports cars with poor braking, but it does have really good traction. The design of this car also resembles that Mercedes-Benz SL65 AMG Black Series, and because of the Feltzer's setup, it does make it prone to losing control around corners just a little bit, so you do have to watch it when you take high-speed turns. But what sets the Feltzer apart here is the extensive customization options. The sports car basically has a wide body kit attached to it. You get a bunch of selection options for sports hoods, carbon fiber parts, and all of which can be personalized to reflect your unique playstyle. And plus, the paint scheme of this car also extends right into the stitching on the interior, so you can make it just as stylish inside as you can on the outside here. Moving on to number two, we have the Obey 9F Cabrio, also for sale at the LS Car Meet. While maybe not as sought after as the normal 9F or even the Feltzer, which we just talked about, it is yet another removed vehicle that is still on the more rare side, considering this is only the second time we've seen it make a return to the game since it was removed in June of 2023. And the 9F Cabrio is going to offer you that same high performance as its coupe counterpart here, featuring really nimble handling and a strong all-wheel drive layout. It's also a rear engine car, so expect great stability around those corners. It delivers impressive torque, but it does lack a bit in the traction department if you push it too strongly, despite the car being all-wheel drive. Visually though, the Cabrio mirrors that 2007 to 2013 Audi R8 Spider, so you get a nice open top configuration of the already very sleek and sporty aesthetic of the hardtop 9F. Now, as we move on to number three, if you're enjoying this video at any point, or if you've just been finding it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on the video. And if you want to stay up to date with everything GTA Online and Rockstar Games, then please consider hitting that subscribe button with your bell notifications turned on. Moving on to number three, we do have the Grotti Stinger GT, also at the LS Car Meet here. This is one of the two removed vehicles this week that is discounted, so you'll still need to go to the car meet to buy it. The Grotti Stinger GT is a very high-performance Grand Tourer in this game, drawing inspiration from that iconic Ferrari 250 GTO, and performance-wise, despite claims of better performance than the standard Stinger in the game, any type of gameplay testing you can do is going to reveal that there's little difference between these two cars, and so I would say the choice between the convertible and just the hardtop coupe is going to be more about style preference for you. Nonetheless, you still get high speeds and good acceleration with this car, and you get to outperform other sports classics in both categories. However, at the highest speeds with this vehicle, the car is going to exhibit some noticeable oversteer, and it also has a tendency to fishtail or even power slide off the road during turns. But if you keep the car within its limits, it's very forgiving, and it also has excellent traction. Durability is also average, and the braking performance is less than impressive, however, so do be mindful of that. Moving on to number four, we have the Grotti Carbon Azera, for sale at Simeon's Premium Deluxe Motorsport. This is that other car that I was talking about along with the 9F Cabrio and the Feltzer that's probably the most sought after this week, and players have been begging to see it return to the game. Despite being a Grotti vehicle, it does appear to be more based on the Aston Martin V12 Zagato over a Ferrari, and the Carbon Azera is all around just a very solid, I would say middle-of-the-road sports car that offers good acceleration and a good top speed. The handling also strikes a fine balance between understeer and oversteer, so it's very easy to control, and I would also say it's harder to spin out when driving this car. Understeer may become more noticeable at higher speeds, but it's kind of a non-issue, honestly. The car's crash deformation is also pretty average for sports cars. It doesn't handle multiple collisions well before performance starts to suffer, but of course adding armor upgrades completely fixes that. And despite the overall balance of this vehicle, the Carbon Azera of course won't really stand out in the racing scene against newer DLC sports cars, but it's not really supposed to compete with them. This car does remain to this day an excellent option for newer players out there in GTA who want a fast sports car in their garage basically right away when they start the game. And even if you're a longtime player, absolutely 100% pick one up this week if you have not already. Now, moving on to number 5, we have the Bravado Buffalo S here, also at Simeon's Premium Deluxe Motorsport. This car is modeled after the 2012 to 2014 Dodge Charger, and it really only offers slight improvements in acceleration and top speed over the standard Buffalo, and so it's still going to fall short in those areas compared to other sports cars or muscle cars in this game. The handling of the Buffalo S also feels really heavy and sluggish when driving. It's honestly not that great. You get slow response times and an ultra wide cornering radius compared to the normal Buffalo as well. Honestly, it just doesn't feel right to drive this car. Despite those negatives though, the Buffalo S is still an incredibly stable vehicle, and so it's going to be difficult to spin out when you drive it, and it's also easy to correct if you do spin out or start to spin out. This car also features a strong and reliable set of brakes, and the crash deformation without armor upgrades is also going to be semi-decent here, but if you want the fastest and the best Dodge Charger in GTA Online, I would just say go with the newer Bravado Buffalo STX, as that car also has Imani tech. Moving on to number 6, we have the Dubachi Rapid GT Classic. This is yet another discounted vehicle this week that's for sale and on sale at Simeon's Premium Deluxe Motorsport. It's modeled after the 1972 to 1989 Aston Martin V8 series, and so you get decent enough handling along with sharp turning capabilities with this car, but just be cautious to the oversteer that you may encounter at those higher speeds. Braking performance with the Rapid GT Classic is also far below average compared to other high-end cars in its class, and the crash deformation is acceptable here, so at least it's a sturdy enough choice without upgrades despite handling challenges this vehicle faces. Honestly, while the performance may not be like super impressive, it's a beautiful looking vehicle, and honestly I really love the way I customize it here in this game. It's definitely one of my favorites from this week. Moving on to number 7, we have the Dinka Enduro, also available at Simeon's Premium Deluxe Motorsport. This is just like a very below average off-road motorcycle. It has good enough maneuverability on rough terrains, similar to the Sanchez. However, it has a much lower top speed than most bikes in the game, including that Sanchez, and it also unfortunately cannot participate in off-road races in GTA, so it's going to be, I would say, just less desirable of a choice in terms of off-road dirt bikes to the Sanchez in basically every regard here. The design of the Enduro is the coolest part though, because it's inspired by the Honda XL250 and XL350 models, so I'm keeping it in one of my garages since I won it off the Lucky Wheel last week, funny enough. Finally, moving on to number 8, we have the last car, the Vapid Fagaloa, and in GTA, this car is available at Simeon's Premium Deluxe Motorsport this week. It's based off that Volvo Amazon wagon, and it's really just a bad car. It offers average acceleration and average top speed, but it also oversteers big time when you take sharp turns, and upgrading the suspension can help a little bit, but it'll still happen from time to time. You could probably expect it just by looking at this car, but it also struggles heavily to maintain speed on off-road terrain, even if it's just a flat dirt road. And additionally, the braking isn't really like braking, it's more like wheel lockup, so you just kind of skid to a stop every time you apply the brakes. Just all around not really worth a buy. But with that being said, those are all of the removed vehicles this week, 2 of which are also discounted in this week's update for GTA 5 Online. Next up on the channel, expect a solo money-making guide for the nightclub bonuses, as well as a buyer's guide based on the rest of our property and vehicle discounts this week. I was wondering which video to post first, and usually a buyer's guide is going to be more important to players, but honestly this week I think the removed vehicles may be a better play overall, and so I know some players have been dying to see these for purchase again, and so I wanted to prioritize this removed vehicles video on the channel this week. But let me know if you still want to see that buyer's guide. With that being said, hopefully you all enjoyed the video here today, and if you did, hopefully I earned your like on it. And of course, if you are new to my channel and you want to stay up to date with the best GTA Online and Rockstar Games content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single thing we post here on the channel. Make sure to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube, and you're more than welcome to ask me questions on those platforms. You can follow me at HazardousHDTV, and all of my social media links can be found in the description down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next GTA 5 Online video tomorrow. Adios, amigos.